John, I have a great idea for a tiny nerf, by the way. What if we just removed tree grab altogether and brought back Craggy Coat? Just bring back Craggy Coat. How about that?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, Craggy used to come in clutch when he used to play like a weird core tiny back in the day. It was fun. Craggy's just such an annoying spell, right? Like, because you hit tiny, you suddenly get stunned. It's hilarious. It also just kills tiny again, so I'm not sure.
Am I misremembering, but was it Craggy Coat or Craggy Exterior? I can't remember the exact name. It's been that long. Then now I'm kind of like ashamed of myself for not remembering.
I think it's Craggy. I think it's Craggy Exterior, but I want to say Craggy Coat. I might be mixing it up with the neutral.
The neutral item.
Where was it? Yeah, the neutral item Craggy Coat. So I might be just going a bit weird as well, Mike. But one of those two, I think it's Exterior. I think you're right. I'm an idiot, but I don't know. Like I was gonna suggest turning the shard from permanent tree grab, turning that into the eggs, giving the shard tree volley. So, swap the eggs and swap the shard. That sounds pretty fun. It's still strong, but it's a limited use strong. I think it's great, Mike.
I miss tree volley. I miss the days of Morphling Tiny combo. That was a really, really good time. Yeah, instead of buying shards, you just buy like a Crystallis, and there you go. You're ready. That's it. You're done. Just Daedalus Rush instead of Moon Shard Rush, right? For Tiny, if it went down that route.
Yeah, but you can't hit buildings with tree volley, so could be that balancing factor there, Mike.
Well,
of course, I don't know if you'd spend the gold to just have permanent tree grab, because that's 4,300 gold for an old shard. So maybe kills the hero, maybe makes it spicier. I'd say spicier is the way, Mike. I'd love to see that.
I mean, who needs the tree if you can just kill the whole enemy team anyway with a tree volley? I like that idea, John.
Who knows? Who knows what the frog has in mind? Like,
one more man.
I don't know. Tiny's too much. Yeah. You see RSG, they take care of Pugna and Io, so taking care of some sustain heroes. I mean, they've had to deal with that, right? Like they've seen the Pugna Tiny. They know that just keeping a Tiny alive is enough to ruin your game. They don't quite have big burst damage with the Ember Grimstroke just yet. I mean, early on they will. Down the line, it's not really much, unless the Ember really goes for the right play build. So just ensuring that they will have a way of killing the Tiny off and not have to worry about the sustain. Invoker band out as well. They will go for the Bane pickup first. Neon, for their part, did take care of the Timbersaw and the Bloodseeker, so not willing to put themselves under the same Timber trap, respecting Xiao Yu, does play immune Timber, and ensuring the Pangolier can just roll around. Although, now you have the grip, double grip, in fact, for RSG if they get a good Soulbind. So they still have a good way of keeping the Pangolier back anyway. That is 2 support picks to kind of counteract that. And I love that Neon just goes straight into the Abaddon. You have that Purge to remove the Nightmare. You have a great way of just ensuring the lockdown's not going to chain true. And that could just be enough to enable themselves to play this game.
Yeah, it's a very simple Abaddon pick there for Neon Esports. Just gonna make the Bane's life a living hell. It's a Bane spam myself, John. It's not very fun trying to Fiend's Grip somebody and there's just an Abaddon right behind them waiting for you to do so. Not very fun whatsoever. Still Neon, 4th pickup for them. They'll go for the Shadow Shaman. That'll mean the Pango is going to be once again in the off lane. So the Shaman pos 4 to come out from Neon. RSG, balls back in their court, but they need 2 more cores. So maybe an off-lane pickup to come here for RSG. Something for Xiao Yu, perhaps. Won't have his Mars this time around. What else do we have? I mean, you don't have Sanking either, sadly.
Yeah, that makes it hard to really have that strong lane up against a Tiny. You want something that ties in Rigid Rimstroke. You want something that maybe plays around with the Inkswell. I mean, I guess you have the option for some like Centaur. It's not the best here right now. So
you always go back to the Centaurs.
Because it's still a good combination with, Grimstroke. It's not great anymore, but it's that combination with the Grimstroke that enables you. RSG will go for the TA, so opting for the TA versus Tiny. Again, there is a timing where TA versus Tiny, TA is really strong. Like, while Grow is kind of kept down, you do a lot of damage. Even by the time Grow is maxed out, TA can still melt through, especially if she has her Deso and some additional minus armor. It is fairly manageable with Meld. So you can work that core matchup. It's just that you have to play fast, and we have to see RSG take the initiative this time. We talked about it in that first game, like they're where RSG didn't feel like they were the ones forcing these fights. They weren't the ones forcing the movement out, and they just fell flat because of that. You have to play fast with this kind of draft. Once your TA has that Desolator Dragonlance, you've got to be able to take some engagements here.
I'd certainly agree with you on that one, John. At least RSG have gone completely different with their draft this time. Like you said earlier, no more DK. You know, the Wraith King was pretty rough that game. Naturally, again, against the Timbersaw, it was never going to be a good time. The TA Ember seems much, much stronger here for RSG for this game number 2. Of course, the viewers are going to get very upset if we have another 1-to-1, John. You know how they get if it's a 1-to-1 day.
Yeah. You know, we are reading the script here, Mike. No spoilers for you guys.
that damn Mafia. It's the damn Mafia, Jonathan. Do they still say Mafia these days? I remember years ago when you and I first started SEA, it used to always be Mafia. Every time a pause came around, it was Mafia. It got spammed in the chat. Which I enjoyed, by the way, for any viewers out there. I found it hilarious. Yeah.
It is always fun. It's still like cash transfer or VT faded. They type in when there's a disconnect clause. So, you know, they still loving that. They still loving those references, Mike. The insinuation of Mafia is there, but they don't say Mafia directly. Neon will take the Enryu Beastmaster. This guy is a demon on the beast, and that should mean we do have the Avatar mode mid Pangolier up against the Ember. Pretty decent matchup. You don't mind that too much. Level 3, level 4 is when you feel pretty good about that. 2 points. Going for like a 2-2-0 build is really nice for the Pango, so should be manageable lane for Avatar mode. And again, Beastmaster gives you really good hold. Annoying as hell lane for the TA. That's not going to feel good. You have to deal with the boars. Your refraction will burn through in the laning phase. The vision game is going to be really good from Neon as well. And the push here, Mike, with Shadow Shaman and Beastmaster, they can just melt these objectives fast.
Look at that, Jonathan. A Doom comes out here for RSG. Because that gives you a very nice way of just kind of taking the dominated creep from Enryu, but as well as that, the Doom against Tiny or even the Pango, going to be very frustrating to have to deal with. I like it. I like the draft of RSG a lot more this time. That being said, though, I like what Neon's come up with as well. What are you thinking, Jonathan? Who did come out with the better draft for game number 2?
I mean, it's so hard to go against double Doom, double Grip. Like, you have a lot of ways of just maximizing your output with Grimstroke. At the same time, I think the lanes are still a bit dicey. Like, Beastmaster Shadow Shaman up against TA level 1, level 2, level 3. It's not the most manageable lane for the TA. I think that's the cause of concern. Like, the aggression from Neon's still there. I think RSG, with Doom closing out, like, we know what Dooms do, Mike. They go for Blink, they go for Midas first, and that will stall you out. With a TA and Ember, who also need itemization, there might not be that early activity for RSG to really go and snowball by the mid game. And they have to hit that critical mass by, say, 20 minutes. They have to be ready to run and gun at that point. Otherwise, Neon's just going to melt all your objectives. So I'd say RSG has a better draft, but I think Neon's going to be a little bit easier to pull off.
Okay, we'll get into it, John. Game number 2 here between Neon and RSG. Be a very fun one to watch once again. Last game was actually very entertaining to watch. Still, that Timbersaw just not dying rings in my mind, Jonathan, as we do get into it. Game number 2.
Prepare for battle.
So,
we're going to be back in about 6 hours, by the way, John.
Oh, yeah. You've got more. Always more Dota. Oh, yeah, he's really loving that. TI winner so good. And Schwan's still is just smiley face, you know? Like, the eyes up. That's it. Doesn't need to say more. He's proven himself, Mike. He knows not to rub it in too much. He's accepted and he's like, yep, that's me.
Absolutely. You take what you can get. Big smoke up from RSG, though. Maybe they're just trying to sweeten them up a little bit. You know, soften them up here. And Chuan not going to fall for it, though. He's used to the mind games, as they are going to move on to the high ground, where Enryu will show himself for a moment, but they aren't going to move in. It seems like RNG really want to try and bait Neon into trying to go for the bounty rune. As MKS, he does get a tip out. They don't see him.
Seconds to battle.
So RSG maybe just running distractions here, as MKS has been left alone, but pings are coming. They are assuming perhaps the TA is there. They have a sentry ward on Chuan. They are not placing it yet, though. In fact, lines have been drawn out towards the south. Asta's going at Exilon as we speak, and here we go. MKS, surprise, Avatar mode. He's going to try to run, and with the Aphotic Shield, it looks like he's going to be fine. Nice attempt. It doesn't end up working out for him though. In fact, 3 bounty runes going to go the way of Neon because of that.
Yeah, gonna be feeling really good. They saved their sentry ward as well, and they forced the Doom to go for level 1 Scorched Earth. So maybe not just having as much presence now at that level 1. It's a little bit of a chase up top, a little bit of back and forth with Roger. Right clicks from Jing are pretty painful. And you already see the Boris up from Enryu. So the TA lane again, not gonna be the comfiest for MKS. I mean, Beastmaster, Boris just kind of really annoys TA. It's also really good ways of just burning through refraction as the lane goes on. And Jing does have the Ether Shock to really annoy Roger. And eventually he can just go and try to right-click down Shadow Shaman. You don't win the right-click trade. He can try to sustain with Brain Sap, but the cooldown is pretty long at level 1, so it's not the best feeling in the world for Roger, and Jing's happy enough to trade back.
Absolutely. Jing just going at it here with Roger. A lot of damage from that Shadow Shaman, and even as the Bane with the Brain Sap up, it's kind of hard to trade when it comes to Shaman. So mid lane, XE learned this time on the Ember against Avatar mode on the Pangolier. This is a rather interesting matchup, John. Pango versus Ember. How do you think this one turns out?
Back and forth. I mean, there is dodge potential here for the Ember with a Sleight of Fist. Avatar mode does have a lot of forward damage, though, with a Shield Crash and a Swash. So it's manageable from both ends. I think it's really just down to who manages to dodge what and spell use of both sides. Otherwise, rather even. And it's going to be down a lot to those runes. Water runes going to be important. Power runes even more so. And when it comes down to that, you do have great presence from RSG supports. So if they find room, I would favor RSG in those fights over the runes. Like Abaddon and Shaman are nice, but they don't provide you as much control as, say, the Bane and the Grimstroke Cannon. Doesn't line up for as much aggression.
Certainly not. And of course, the final lane, Jonathan, bot lane. Gonna have Zhao Bonbon and Zhao Yu against Chuan and Asta. The Doom versus the Tiny. Especially you can apply a bit of pressure here with the Inkswell into the Scorched Earth and just kind of run Asta down. For now, though, Asta having a very good time in the Tiny. No real stress for him at the moment. Zhao Yu, just trading farm. More than happy to just, abuse that Devour and get his own CS going. It's one of the things with the Doom hero, right? Like, you can't underestimate how farmed this hero can get if you let it. I think Zhao Yu will be more than happy to just allow himself to reach that level. And you can already see Zhao Yu, he's queued up the Midas. He is well and truly expecting to be a big boy this game.
Yeah, but it's again that factor of greed with a Doom pick. You've got a TA, you've got an Ember, and you've got this Doom who's going to need some time to slow down the game. We've seen RSG play that slower game before. It just doesn't feel like it plays into their strength. They are a team that plays really fast and aggressive and catches you off guard. So the shifting of gears here has to work out. You have to be ready to maybe accept some early losses.
Speaking of early losses, Roger, he's going to go down on the Bane. Jing able to set up very nicely there with the level 1 shackles, and you see MKS just trying to back off as the Beastmaster balls, and just Jing with the right click damage just so high. Banner even being dropped here from Jing. Hands up, MKS, he can't do it. Oh, that's a great Hawk as well. They know exactly where he is. Shackles, not available, but they do have a Mango for the mana. MKS though, he's fine. They already had the sentry. He was well aware. Or was he? Jing gonna move in. Does pop preemptively. MKS, he went back for the creep wave and he will immediately be punished.
Dire structures are fortified.
It's not a great sign. Great laning sentry here from RSG to spot those Hawks, but still not enough to prevent that sort of play. And it's just simple for Neon. Again, when it comes down to draft execution, Neon's draft is really easy to get aggressive with early. Whereas for RSG, they have to accept the slower laning phase. They have to accept maybe a slower mid game if they don't find the itemization. They are doing a good job of shoving away Avatar mode. You are starting to see Exelern pull ahead of Avatar mode now. He does still manage to find a Water Rune, but it does feel like the Sleight of Fist is becoming rather strong. 1-3-1 build. So knowing that you just went out to right-click trades here on the Ember with that orb, with a Blightstone up, it does make it difficult for Avatar mode to maintain presence. Spam ability of Swashbuckle isn't quite up there.
Yeah, Sleight of Fist is it's a very strong ability right now, isn't it, Jonathan? So much bonus damage. Exelern just constantly wanting to punish Avatar mode for even being in this mid lane. Back at I'm wondering who's singing.
It catches me off guard every time. That voice line, it's a beautiful one. The Apes really know what they have there, Mike.
They had some great voice lines, the Apes, didn't they? Were they the ones that that had the "What can you do, brother" as well?
Yes.
Oh, they were really
bad.
good voice lines. The Bane top lane again gonna go down.
I mean, that's where the voice line comes in, Mike. What can you do, brother? You know, it's like, it's Beastmaster, Shadow Shaman. You get shackled, you get slowed by the boars, and you're just dead. Like, there's no counterplay. You can maybe try the Nightmare Dodge. It's just going to be purged off by, say, a creep anyway, so don't really care too much here on the side of Neon. And RSG, 3-0, 1k lead up for Neon. They found that strong start they want. They are getting a lot of farm on Xiao Yu, so your Doom will hit that Midas timing relatively quick, but it's still, again, just stalling. It's just a slower game. Maybe you get that momentum from Exilern, considering his strong mid lane start. He could just play around once the Orb Corrosion's up, maybe just pick up that Javelin as well, and you can start making work around a map for the team.
So many stacks being built up in this die triangle, my goodness. See if, well, Neon, actually, Jing, he's in a bit of danger. Ace Rune is there. They will try to save with the Aphotic Shield. Avatar mode. Rolling Thunder is available, but he's still looking for nice angles. Exilern. Jing, how is he still alive? He's still playing around with this Ember. Exilern finally takes him down.
Your best effort.
My god, they just threw so many heals at him.
Yeah, that is not ideal. It takes a lot more effort for Exilern to find a kill. It's still a good kill to pick up. You're dragging these resources from Neon onto mid. You're opening up your side lanes a little bit more for that farm. And you are still getting that space to build the stacks up. However, those are stacks that Neon are aware of. They've got a good observer ward watching the area. They can invade down the line. And RSG, that's their first kill of the match so far. Still have to get a little bit more going, but you are reaching that point where the Ember's right click is starting to rack up. Up top, though.
MKS, he's been caught out again. And Enryu's just been really on point this series. Another great kill onto the TA. And Jing will be the one to pick it up, but nonetheless, they are making MKS's life a living hell this series.
TA is just not having a great time. Barely above Avatar mode in farm, so our Pangoliers also been struggling, but the TA struggling is just a scarier thought. And again, the catch-up farm is there in the jungle, but they're going to lose access to the top jungle really quick with that Dominator already up from Enryu. And there's a nice little trick you can do with those tomato creeps. You know, you could just kill them off by dominating something else. You can get that bonus damage on command if you wanted to. I don't think we've seen a big play like that yet. Still something worth considering down the line.
Yeah, I guess so. Or you could just find a Dark Troll Summoner, John. Just have skellies.
True.
It's all about the skellies, Jonathan.
Oh god, Beastmaster with Dark Troll Summoner is just...
There it is.
Yeah, oh my god.
What were you saying, John? It's what?
It's very balanced, Mike. Very balanced indeed. This is... It's disgusting. You even have Shadow Shaman. You don't even have the wards up from Jing, but once that's up, mid will fall, top tier 2 could be under threat depending on where they want to play, and they're rotating onto that mid here if they wanted to.
Did they raise the cooldown or something on Raise Dead? I swear it's longer. I can't tell because they've been doing a lot of shadow nerfs recently. Very hard to tell what they've been up to in Valve offices. Anyway, disregard that question, John. Mid lane. Here we go again. Neon. Big smoke up. They've got Roar available. They've got Rolling Thunder available here on Avatar mode.
Dire are scanning.
Neon.
Good scan.
Very good scan. They do spot out some stacks. It'll be even more valuable than the kills, I think. They're just going to move in and take them. No problem. It's up to Neon, or rather RSG, to try and fight back against this now, which is going to be rather hard into the Roar and the Rolling Thunder. Exilern, he's going to show up. They've taken the large camp already. Exilern will now make his presence known, but does look to back off as Xiao Yu may be targeted here by Avatar mode, and it's a great angle to keep stunning him up, but no, they missed the second time around. Who are they aiming? Jing, he's got the Doom. Nightmare will save Chuan, trying to get the kill, but can't get it in time. In fact, Exilern now, he'll jump back in. Enryu forced to pop the Roar, but this is not the fight they wanted. Neon, they've gone too far. They could not find an initial target.
What? MPS?
Oh!
Anything from you.
How did that happen?
Just a lone boar on a mission, Mike.
What?
Spitting away.
Avatar I mean, at least they might get the Pango. Roots up, that should be enough, though. He will go for a quick swash, but Roger, he'll save his own life with the Nightmare. So what happened to this TA, John? Talk to me about, well, how does he die like that?
Just a lone boar burning away. You know, he took a lot of damage in that fight, stays around for a bit too long, and is punished. So, I mean, you drop a lot of heroes there on Neon, 2 for 1, but you find a TA, you take most of the stacks away, you still feel pretty good about that move. And I think that's going to be concerning for RSG. That's a catch-up farm MKS needs to really build up. Not quite there. And just look at her Tiny in comparison. Asta has top lane all to himself. The action's very far away from there. And Asta has a Midas as well. So if they want to play greedy in RSG, so will Asta. And the attack speed's always good in Tiny, I suppose.
Exi learn. Gonna move in onto Enryu. No roar up this time, but Hex is there. Jing got the control. Inkswell is gonna cancel that off, and he's out of there. He doesn't want to deal with this any longer. Roger gonna be sacrificed to the gods. Ja Bon, he'll be next. In fact, they might still chase the Ember down, but no, never mind. Remnants are still available here for Exi learn. Neon, what's the objective? They'll try for Roshan. Oh, they've got circle. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that this is a thing now.
Yeah. Ain't that nice, Mike? Ain't it nice? Just easy Rosh when you have Shadow Shaman. Just hit level 6. Get the push in. Free Aegis going the way of Neon now. And again, Asta with a Midas has just been farming like a madman, working on to the Shadow Blade. Next, they do intercept here on Exilern, but not really able to find anything with those chains. And for RSG, this is the moment where their draft really slows down. They need to farm on their TA, on their Doom. They need to get that link up and running on Xiaoyu, not too far off now. They have to be able to find that jump and commitment, find the initiation to follow through from their Ember. And until that blink is up, they're just not going to find that opening that quickly. So we'll see if that blink will be the game changer they need here. Xiaoyu again inching closer towards that point. But Neon have been very willing to play as 4. You know, they just group up as 4, they run around the map, they pressure, they look for objectives. And this has slowed down the build-up on Avatar mode. He is still bottom network core, but it doesn't feel like the Pango needs too much. And I think Neon understands that the gold flowing to Enryu, the gold flowing to Asta is more than enough, that the Pango is really just there for the role.
Neon still very confident here, just hanging around top side. There's your Aether Lens now up on Jing, and he's been very good at setting up here on the Shadow Shaman. RSG, they're going to try and fight this one out, it seems. They've got the blink up on Xiaoyu. They'll move in with the Doom. It is available. Swell is going to land. The Beastmaster in trouble. Chuan trying to save the day. There's your all round. They got a bit greedy. They have not committed the Doom, and now the turnaround is there. Neon. They'll just try to fight back, but they might have to just retreat. Chuan still fine, holding on to that extra skill point for the borrowed time. Meanwhile, Roger being slowed up by the Ghost Creep. Xiaoyu, he still has the Doom available as Chuan. Very quick reactions. There's your Doom out on the Pango now. Maybe they can take this fight. Exi learn, he'll remnant forward. Wards drop, back on the Doom at Jing. Not going to be able to get the kill yet. Xiaoyu still running. Eventually will die to the Shaman wards. But it's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of RSG. Neon, they'll have to accept it and just let it be.
I don't even know if I can say that was in RSG's favor. They had to drop Doom. They only find 2 supports, really. They didn't manage to find that kill on Avatar mode. So you're not getting as much as you'd want, and you have to commit a lot of big spells for it. I think if you're Neon right now, you're fairly happy. You trade away your wards with that Doom use, which is fine. You're showing up on some early fights now with Asa. He's got this Shadow Blade up. So he has a ton of attack speed to play with, just lacking the shards. He's going to have that shards by the time the 15 minutes roll around, or maybe a few seconds after, and they can apply pressure onto these towers, no problem. Force out the Fortify. Got to find a way to defend here in RSG.
RSG, make sure they keep this T1 mid tower protected. Neon, are we going to see a 5-man smoke? Not quite yet, but they are still very grouped up. In fact, never mind. There's your smoke out. Asta, he'll move in with the Shadow Blade. There is a sentry to scout this out. He'll still move in onto Roger, though. With the Aegis up, he's feeling quite confident as Avatar mode. Has the Rolling Thunder. Ja Bon. He's alright for now, but eventually should drop on the Grimstroke and does. Exi learn. still being chased here. There's your Hex out. Jing again. Great presence on the Shaman. Making it so hard for XE Learn. As Neon, they'll move in once again into the mid-tier 1 tower. You've got to give props to Jing here, John. He's been fantastic on this Shaman.
Jing's really been one of the standing points for Neon. I'd say all 3 new players have been outstanding, but Jing on his pause 4, as long as he can play make, he does set up for the team well, and that investment into the Shadow Shaman's paying dividends. 8 relents plus Keen Optic, that reach you have on the Shackles, on the Hex is just way too far, and the Ember not really built up for defense yet. No BKB is still a ways off. You've got that Diffusal up and running now on Avatar mode as well, so he's got that inhibit while rolling around. Could be troublesome for the Ember if he doesn't get defensive remnants off in time. Side of RSG still maintain a slight net worth lead. That is because they're running Doom with Midas. He is number 1 in net worth. And look at the farm of everyone else. MKS, Exalern falling severely behind Asta. Just not able to work the map. And it's just down to how greedy their lineup is. They all need to play jungle. They all want to get that build up. You are reaching the point where a couple of these items are coming through, Mike, and they can start to make some plays. Doom is ready once more on Xiaoyu. He's got the blink. They are going for the smoke.
Yeah, Roger. Oh, that's a great target, Asta. Problem is, he's got the Aegis up for 20. They're waiting very patiently within the fog, hoping the Aegis expires, but the team is smoked up right behind him. They're ready to help out Asta whenever. There's your Fiend's Grip, Roger, trying to set up. Aegis still 7 seconds away. They don't have the setup here. Roger, he doesn't have the buyback. He's still delaying the Aegis timing. There's your remnant forward. Xiao Yu will go for the chase, but Asta, he'll get an avalanche off. He's alright. He will back off and retreat for now as Avatar mode. He will chase down Xiao Yu. They've got the Ice Golem. Xiao Yu getting roared up, getting taken down. Neon are just completely outplaying RSG. And I'll tell you what, on RSG, they've had a rough day. They've been getting a taste of Div 1 for 2 or 3, and it's been a rather sour taste.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, they had such a great run in Div 2, and of all teams to really put up that big fight, Neon. And that ends up in relegation to 1, showing us how good they can be as they go for more.
Yeah, Avatar. Gonna move in again. Jump on Pond. He'll go for the silence. Nice chains out. Asta, he can just move in anyway though. Nightmare is out. Avatar, he still found Jump on Bond. On the brighter side though, Chuan does go down to XE Learn. So it's a 1-for-1.
Top tower has fallen.
That's gonna be enough. Neon, they'll be happy with the tier 2 tower. And it's gonna get to a stage. You talked about this during the draft, John. I'm gonna give you credit, even though we all kind of know how this works. The towers just don't last long against Tiny. If you fall behind this hero, chances are he's just gonna delete all your objectives.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that. I mean, Tiny plus Beastmaster plus Shadow Shaman, they don't last. You know, the wards come down, the attack speed's there. I gotta say, Asta with a Midas, he gets a good read in the game. He understands how greedy he can go because of how slow RSG wants to play, so he doesn't need to be active as much. The Midas is paid for itself. The attack speed really helps your Tiny. It feels like a lot better than just a Moonshard Rush. You still get some attack speed out, but you get a lot of gold and EXP for your efforts as well.
Asta? Smells something, John. Not gonna find the target he wanted. You see Neon, they are on the hunt right now. Very confident in their ability to be able to take any team fight. They obviously don't want to allow any kind of recovery time either. When it comes to MKS, you just want to make sure that he just remains behind. As they head down towards the bot tier 1 tower, Asta. Gonna be able to take that rather easily. In we go again. Asta, Avatar mode. He's ready with the Diffusal. Just pump faking. That Rolling Thunder is Asta. He's gonna move in, and it's, you know, the Tiny's one problem, but then you've got the Helm of the Overlord creep right behind him. That's another problem you've got to deal with. What you're watching right now is some very, very balanced gameplay here from our resident Tony.
Yep.
Asta delete another tower.
This is our Sven at home, Mike.
Oh, Jing! Jing's in again. Xiao Yu forced the BKB up early. That's terrible news for RSG. Neon, it doesn't seem like they're comfortable moving back into the tier 3 tower, but they can certainly move very comfortably, knowing the Doom BKB is not up for the next 70 seconds.
And that's a key tool for RSG's initiation, just having that confident frontliner who doesn't care for the stuns. Down for a bit longer, fresh charge gone. Down to 8 seconds now. And they could just make moves for the mid-tier too. Like clear out all the outer towers here from RSG. Neon just choking map. They will go for a smoke play. To be trying to punish with that BKB down.
RSG. Oh, MKS. He's the primary target. Jing again in with the Hex, but do they have the follow-up? Asta, he's there with the Avalanche toss. Look at the damage output. MKS, he's already gone. Onto the Doom they go. Xiao Yu, he's going to follow suit. Roger, he's holding the Fiend's Grip, but it makes no difference. Oh, Neon, just clean them up. It just happens too quick, John. By Xiao Bonbon.
Way too quick. Way too quick. They even got the double Doom off with good soul bind, just not enough with that grip. And it doesn't make a difference. Full team wipe, RSG, no one around to defend. Respawns are short, but these towers melt even faster than the respawns might.
Look at that, Jonathan. This is just with the Shadow Blade, by the way. Just for everyone to be aware, Midas Shadow Blade is what Asta's got right now. This is perfectly balanced. I really, really enjoy this kind of meta.
Right?
Big
One
fan.
team fight and you lose your high ground. Isn't that it's just perfect? Very rewarding, not very punishing at all. Feels perfectly balanced to play against. And it makes you happy. You know, if you're the enemy right now, you're just giggling, oh, we shouldn't have done that. Hey, hey, our bad. We'll clean up. We'll do better next fight, you know. But again, they got double Doom. They got double grip. Not enough. It just didn't matter. What does it matter?
I loved your little invitation there, John. It was very good, thank you. Yeah, we'll just perform better against the Tiny. You know, what can we do? We didn't perform well enough.
What can you do, brother? You know, it's like it's the voice line, like that's literally it when you play against Tiny.
I hate that I can't make that impression without, you know, people getting upset. You can, because you're in the Southeast Asian region. I can't, sadly.
It's a fun one too.
It's hilarious.
It's such a good voice line. It's so good. I love it. This game's all about loving it. RSG, they're gonna smoke up. They're gonna try to force the fight outside. No Doom, no grip for a little bit longer. Half a minute for that Doom, so got to find a good angle without that spell. And Neon are very aware. They're just clumped up here.
Yeah, Neon. Very, very confident. They've even got the solar crest there on Chuan now for added attack speed as MKS is going to be spotted. Chuan jumps in. Jing is gone. That's the main one they wanted first, but Asta, he's going to find Roger. Xe learn. Look at the damage on the Ember. He's barely going to get out. Asta still being chased. Xiao Yu, he might have the damage. They've finally got the Tiny down. Chuan's gone to boot. There's the Beastmaster being gripped up by Roger. It's a perfect team fight from RSG. Zenryu. He's at least going to take the Bane with him. They even found the Pango. Alright, RSG. They're showing signs of life. And Roshan is available for them to take.
I mean, it is. They do have to go back to the base to fix that mid lane as it is shoving onto their tier 4. So they don't manage to go straight to Rosh. MKS will start by himself, but the Shaman's back up. And this feels like a very awkward situation because this Rosh doesn't melt too fast solo. The side of Neon does have years around it. Might just make a play if they wanted to. Risky, but perhaps worth a shot to stop that Ags and Aegis up here.
Roshan is eventually going to go down unless Jing can make some magic happen, but no, he's been caught out. Shadow Amulet or not, this time around they'll catch him. They do have the gem up on Xiao Yu to give the detection. Alright, RSG, suddenly the net worth is back their way. The TA is top of the net worth board, and well, one bad team fight, and suddenly Neon backs against the wall once again.
I think that's going to be fixed up by Asta picking up that AC relatively soon. The additional armor is going to be big in preventing that burst.
This hero, man, I don't know. Like,
Heading to you, Mike.
Think about it, John, right? Like, the whole thing with... hold that thought. We're going to have a bit of a team. I'll finish my thought later on. If they do back off, that is. So think about it, right? Like, Tiny used to be all about Avalanche Toss. Avalanche Toss still does 1k plus damage, right? It still does 1k plus damage if you combo. Then you've got this tree throw, which adds another few hundred depending on your own attack. Right now about 450 for Asta. And on top of that, you just hit them. Like, how do you survive if he catches you?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You really don't. You really don't, Mike. And it's in Asta's name, right? Hasta la vista, baby.
That's terrible, John. I appreciate the thought. That was terrible, Jonathan.
It's in his name. This is why he's playing
You're reaching,
Tiny.
John. You're reaching.
RSG, they're also reaching for a bit of a defense here, Mike. They do stall out and waste the wards up top. They don't really, let Neon go up and try to siege for the wards. But you still have Beastmaster, you still have that Ancient Black Dragon who, I don't know if you saw it a while ago, it was doing so much damage while Henry was gripped up. Like, he just managed to kill off the Bane off that. Might have found the Grimstroke too if he had another auto attack in. So that's also nice to see. With the help of the Overlord. I mean, RSG, if they stall this game out, you have a TA, you have an Ember in the Doom, you can reach stuff like Refresh Doom, you can reach stuff like the Ags on Ember. TA still has a lot to grow into as well. So there's a lot of items that helps them scale, maybe even a little bit better. Then the side of Neon, the issue is finding that space to grow. It feels like it's going to take them maybe at least 10 minutes to get some of those key items up. And that's not time Neon's going to willingly give out. Especially with that AC finally done on Asta. 37 armor. Yeah, it nullifies that TA's minus armor completely.
Dire's top tower
RSG.
is under attack.
Roger, gonna move in a little bit here. I mean, they've got the Aegis up. Maybe they feel like they can take the fight. 9-second BKB available on MKS to boot. Not a bad timing whatsoever here for the TA. RSG, they're gonna group up bot instead. Trying to go after that tier 2 tower and take the outpost off the Radiant side instead. Long time coming here for the TA, but MKS is at the point where he can finally fight back. Just needed that BKB for so long, it feels like. You can't wait for the next Roshan. Like, you've still got about a minute and a half to go. Do you fight as RSG, or do you just kind of take the time to farm?
You take the time to farm. You want to get that build up. You want your Ember to have a few more items up. Although there's not much you can really farm in a minute that can fix Excellerance issues right now. Again, as you mentioned, BKBs are up. You could play around that. They don't really want to play outside their base without the info though. They don't have that much vision here from RSG, which is again where the Beastmaster comes in. Some of these good wards from Neon as well, watching your own triangle, their side of the river. So they've got a rough idea as to where RSG is playing. They draw some good lines, draw some good circles. They know triangle is only the safe spot for RSG. And because of that lack of info, RSG can't really move out. They just shove where they can, find that build up. Stuck.
There goes your Grimstroke. Jump on bot. Getting the balance treatment right there from Asta. Even the voice line on top of that, why not? And Tiny has some of the best voice lines as well, if you really think about it. For BM, that is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely up there. I'm sure Tiny players, that's exactly what they want. That's why they pick Tiny Mike. No other reason.
They're just Tony enjoys, John. MKS. It's gonna blink away. Roger, he'll be fine as well. And it's like Neon not gonna go for a deep chase. They're still kind of worried about the Aegis, of course, on the TA, but it is gonna expire in 5 seconds. Not too much to worry about there against MKS. In fact, they're gonna smoke up right on time. Be a very awkward team fight for RSG as they just lost that Aegis as we spoke. Into the triangle they go. Chuan gonna try and get the information, but RSG, they seem to know. Based off the timing of that Aegis, they know the smoke's coming, but Xiao Yu needs to blink out. Hex is there. Jing again setting up. Nightmare will save Jing. He will end up dropping, but they've got Xiao Yu on the Doom. He's gonna buy back immediately. They need that Doom for this team fight. Raw round from Enryu onto the XE Learn Ember as they keep going. There's your double Doom out. Onto the Pango, onto the Abaddon. They can fight back. RSG, as long as they have the double Doom, they've got what it takes to be able to keep going against Neon. They'll make it work.
I'm surprised how early it felt like Asta backed off from that fight. After seeing the buyback, the rest of Neon didn't quite communicate their intent. And they miss out on an opportunity. RSG with those sets of kills, can start thinking about more objectives. They've got the MKB up and running now on MKS.
Radiant's
So he
middle
hits a lot
tower is
faster,
under attack.
and also doesn't take the TA too long to get to work on these objectives. Gonna have a nice siege
Radiant's
onto that tier 2
structures are
solo.
fortified.
Does force the fortify out. Has to force the back off right in the nick of time. RSG.
Doesn't react fast enough. I don't think they even saw him. Xiao Yu maybe just stepped back a bit too
Oh,
quick.
MKS?
Oh,
What?
MKS. You gotta watch out for Jing, John. He's still been on point with these initiations. No rule necessary for that
but-
one.
He was sieging solo for a long time. The rest of his team was walking away from him. When they missed the tiny, they should have maybe backed off. Does get punished for overstaying. And with that
Oh.
kill on TA, there's no buyback. It's a big opening.
Yeah, there's no buyback and you're against Tiny. Here we go, John. Guess what's happening now? Through the top lane we go, I think. Do they know there's no buyback? That's the question.
They must have seen that fresh MKB in the inventory. At the very least, Chuan is checking everyone's inventory, I'm sure. And so they should be aware. Gold was expended, a big amount of gold. And the tower doesn't have too much life here, Mike. Creep wave's coming up shortly, mid shoved in. Here we go.
Even if it was full HP, John, it wouldn't have much life, let me tell you. Against this hero, doesn't matter how much life you have. He'll take it. Glyph's over. Bye-bye, tower. 3 hits will do it. Onto the Bane they go, Roger. He was under Hawk Vision. He's gone. Xiao Yu doesn't have Doom available right now. He's going to be very careful. He can't man-fight the Tiny. Asta, he'll get to work and the Doom's gone. Fiend's Grip? Double Fiend's Grip, in fact, but it's only XE Learn. He's the only one with the damage output. Asta, he won't mind fighting. In fact, hold on a minute. Inkswar connects. Maybe they can fight back, but Chuan, he's going to save Jing in the meantime. Get jump on Bond. Secure it up as the Hex is out. Jing once again. Finding XE Learn. Asta, he will finally drop as MKS has respawned up. And XE Learn, he will commit the buyback. Avatar, he'll die eventually.
Will he?
Will he? Yes, he will. Ultra kill for XE Learn. They didn't get the melee barracks either, John. They got the range.
Yeah, maybe just going a bit too ham there. They do get punished. RSG showing us that they still have that fight left in them. And you have to respect the Doom. He did a lot of work, Xiao Yu. Infernal Blade is % damage. And Tiny is a high EHP hero, so you can kind of just constantly burn through him if you do manage to spam it out, which he did. We've got the Ags up now for XL Learn, so even more mobility, even more disruptiveness in these fights. It's down to Jing to get that good control off. Jing and Enryu with Aurora to find that big target now. Roche still a minute away, so Neon will have time to fight for that objective, but the respawn's coming out. And unfortunately for RSG, they don't really manage to get much off the map. So Neon's still in a good position, but they have lost most of that network lead. Very even game in terms of that. Map control definitely in Neon's favor though. They've always got the Hawk Vision to help them out as well, so just working around here for RSG is very limited. So it's just hard for them to find that angle, find that position they need to be in. They do have the gem on Xiao Yu to at least scout out the Hawks. It still gives info out to Neon that they need anyway to find these heroes. So we'll see what they can get up to. Neon fully back up now. Roche, 20 seconds away. Winner for the next fight will probably have that big objective.
Chuan gonna be able to avoid Xiao Yu. He literally just picked up that 4 staff. Oh, very tense game now. Net worth lead. Very, very even between these two teams. And like you said, John, Roshan, just so important in a game like this. Roshan's going to spawn up. Ags will be there. Hawk will give vision of the Roshan, to be fair. They do know what's up. Problem is, MKS has got a double tap. Well, of course he does, John. Roshan just spawned. Why the hell not? They're going to try and fight. Creeps are to move in. Jing, he'll drop the Serpent Ward. Somebody's going to jump in for the Aegis though. Asta, he's in. He's got the no. MKS, he'll be the one to take the Aegis. Now the Fiend's Grip in the Roshan pit. They can't afford to lose this Tiny. Asta, he'll back off for now. Chuan saving the day again. Asta, still running. XE Learn, he'll back off for now. He can't afford to really man-fight this Tiny. In the meantime, Avatar mode's gone on the Pango. Chuan still backing off on the Avalanche, but should eventually fall as they do buy back. Maybe they can afford to try and fight back. They'll have to now. Avalanche and Toss is there. Xiao Yu, he's gonna cop it. That'll be your Doom gone. Without buyback availables, now the Shackles out onto Roger, but MKS, he's there with the silence. MKS, though, needs to be a little bit careful. He's had his teammates just retreat now. He might just need to back off himself as Avatar mode is still looking to move forward. They're onto the Bane. That'll be Roger gone. Chuan still healing up the Tiny. Asta, oh, they've got the Ember now.
No.
The Shackles are out. Asta, he might have the damage output, but no. XE Learn jumps back in, gets rid of the Tiny. Avatar mode, he fought back into this team fight. He can't afford to die either, but it looks like he might just be set to fall as XE Learn does avoid the Rolling Thunder. And he's gonna be alright.
Radiant's top tower
That's a full
is
team wipe for
Radiant's top
RSG.
tower has fallen.
I'll tell you what, Johnny, this game's getting more and more tense as time goes on, but now there's a 13k net worth lead for the side of RSG. And even if they are 1 racks down, they are still within this game.
That they are. They just need to find a way of going up to the objectives, taking some of those towers away, and start opening up the map more, start applying that laning pressure onto Neon just with some super creeps up. Still a ways off from making that progress, though. Really good snatch on the Ags, just not quick enough there on Asta and on the Aegis, and they do get that free Ags up, which they did pass on. Actually give that upgrade. They gave it to Roger, so they've got the Fiend's Grip with the illusion, slower cooldown on the hold, and that just enables our Bane to do a lot. And it's been a tough time for Roger. I did not realize this, Mike. He's level 13 at 36 minutes. That's not a great feeling at all. So it's still a level 2 grip. Uptime's not as good as it could be. It's still there. So you still have a lot of presence out now on that hero. You do have the Silver Edge up on Asta, so he does have the crit on hand. That could rectify some of the damage issues they've been having here on Neon. And RSG, even with 11k gold lead, that's mainly from expanding those buybacks. So it's not like Neon's 11k worth of items down. Do you have the Daedalus up, though?
Here we go. They've got the Pango. That'll be a dieback. Oh, he's gone for 2 minutes.
Is under attack.
That's a long time. Make matters worse, John, you've got a Daedalus now up on MKS. So he's hitting real hard as they jump in. Asta, he was spotted. Traps are going to slow him up. Can they catch him, though? He's going to BKB. He's going to fight. They can see him. Asta, he'll go for the BKB TP out. Can he make it? He's going to be fine. But no BKB for the defense. It's a very hard defense now for Neon. And hell, RSG, in the right circumstances, they might just dive T4 towers.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They've got that damage output already. They're at the critical mass point for TA.
XE Learn, oh no, he's not Enryu.
Oh, no.
He's in with the Roar. They've got enough damage. They'll take down the Ember. Now the trap slow is there. Xiao Yu gonna jump in onto the Tiny. That's the one they want. Asta on the run. No buyback gold available right now, but he will run his way out. In the meantime, Serpent Wards gonna block a couple of them in. Jing actually stopping MKS and Roger by the tier 2 tower. And that's gonna be enough for him. Suddenly, I mean, the game, it's still very, very tense here, John. You haven't lost one lane of barracks yet for Neon, but they're still 30 seconds away from their Pango respawning.
Yeah, they've managed to stall it out long enough.
Asta, he's got the Hex out. They've caught the TA, but the double Fiend's Grip from Roger. Look at the illusions, John. He's got the Axe up. They'll buy back. Still fine. Hex is there. Keep in mind the Aegis is available on MKS. RSG, only 30 seconds for the Aegis. That might be enough for them to say, screw it, it's time to get out of here. It's just not safe enough.
Definitely isn't. They force out the buybacks they wanted to, especially on Asta. So they're in a position now, if they win the next fight, they can find a lot more off that map, but so can Neon. They found that dieback earlier on the Ember. Now they can go for a smoke play, knowing the Ember is going to be down for a little while longer. No buyback option because of that being on cooldown for a bit longer. Let's see what Neon can find. It does feel like if Neon also finds that opening here, Mike, Mega Creeps will come out. Very simple. They just need to find those kills.
Asta's moving in. Roger, He'd be a great target. He's got Fiend's Grip back up though. With the Aghanim Scepter, the cooldown is just too low as Zhao Yu. He's going to back off Asta. Oh, he found MKS, but a quick blink away from the TA is going to make it so he's fine as they make the jump in onto the Beastmaster. He's got Roar up though. Zhao Yu is the target. There's your refresh out. Zhao Yu's gone. He has buyback available and he will commit it. He knows he has to. There's no choice in the matter. Neon, I think they can keep going, John. They have a second roar up. XC learn. You've got to be very careful. If he remnants forward, he is as good as dead. Zhao Yu, he's moving in. They've got the vision. They've got the high ground ward. Chuan, he'll be targeted. Borrowed time, though, is going to be there. Instead, they'll try and chase down Avatar mode on the Pango, but with the roll-up, he's fine for now. He'll try and find his own way out. Zhao Yu, again with the chase in. Jing, he's there with the Hex. Asta, out with the Avalanche. Fiend Grip being committed. They really want the Pango. Doom also being committed onto Asta. Still trying. RSG, they will take down Enryu on that Beastmaster as MKS. He'll just keep it up. In fact, they found the Tiny. Asta, he's gone without buyback now. MKS could just run right through mid. If they really want, there's 4 heroes down without buyback. There should be no chance of a defense here for Neon.
Yeah, I don't see anything Jin can really do. Doesn't even have to shard up to spawn a couple of Serpent Boards to help the push. So you've got that opening now on RSG. You can just look for the objectives, and with a DD up on MKS as well, doesn't take too long to get that done here.
Rapier's coming, John. MKS has bought one out. Jing, he's been good this game, John, but I don't know how he's going to defend this one. There's 1,000 damage on MKS right now. Look at that.
No, they call it.
Yeah, fair enough. RSG, they'll get 2 ties today. One against NGXC, one against Neon. Great games, or rather great series, both of them. And a great day of SEA Dota, Jonathan. RSG, you know, it's still a great team, John, but clearly they've got to get some more practice in before they get to 2 or 3. At least from this, at least from today's experience.
Yeah, I mean, look, they faced up against NGX, one of the middling teams of Div 1. They faced off against Neon, a Demoti, going back to Div 2. And both of these teams gave really strong fights to RSG. They did not look as strong as I think a lot of people expected them to come in. They still clean out this game. Very great plays coming out from them. That Aegis steal in the end, the Aegis and Ag steal in the Roche Pit really enabled Roger to make these plays happen. If they didn't have that Ag's blessing on the Bane, these fights would not have held up the way they did going forward. So that it all came from that one moment where Neon was just not quick enough on the uptake. They got punished for it. And RSG finds that opening from that one small mistake to turn this game around. They still had a lot of scaling with that TA, Doom, and Ember. They just needed time to do so. For Neon, it was a good showing. And it's showing us that with Coach Chuan stepping in, his insights from outside the game translate very nicely in the game. And he's managing to take command really well, really form up on these young new players and show us what they can do. Not quite enough to close out that second game. They still make it tough for RSG and make it a very tough win